Provisional data from CDC's National Center for Health Statistics indicate there were an estimated 107,622 drug overdose deaths in the United States during 2021, an increase of nearly 15% from the 93,655 deaths estimated in 2020.
Back in the 1980s, most people thought we could arrest and prosecute our way out of the drug problem. And that's why by 1990, the public was pushing for tougher drug laws, longer sentences, mandatory minimum. And it's just taken a while for people to recognize, particularly politicians, to recognize that the war on drugs should be more of a public health war rather than a criminal justice war.
An Associated Press review of federal and state incarceration data shows that between 1975 and 2019, the U.S. prison population jumped from 240,000 to 1.43 million Americans. Among them, about 1 in 5 people were incarcerated with a drug offense listed as their most serious crime.
We declared a war known as the War on Drugs on poor folks of color. And we have gone into those communities, even though studies have now shown for decades that people of color are not any more likely to use or sell drugs than whites. We've gone into these communities of color, stopping, frisking, searching people en masse, rounding them up for primarily nonviolent drug offenses, primarily possession.
The crack era was demonized. You saw on television, somebody was spending tens of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, to say that, hey, crack is a problem. These, what was the term that was used back then? Super predators, yep. These super predators are dealing crack and they're dangerous. The people using crack are welfare queens. And you had all of these phrases and terms coined to demonize these people because they were black and brown.
I'd like to see Governor Dukakis join us now in calling for the death penalty for these drug kingpins.
The Republican legislation is the first to go after the drug user. Anyone convicted of drug possession or drug trafficking would be banned from receiving federal student loans, federal home loans, or contracts to do work for the government. States would be required to suspend a driver's license of anyone convicted on drug charges, or the state would lose all its federal highway money. And anyone convicted of possession could be fined 25% of his income and net assets. Republicans were determined to get a head start because the Democrats who control Congress are writing a bill of their own. And Democrats control enough votes to claim credit for the politically popular war on drugs.
Well, I'll speak for myself. Sometimes I just totally given up on life. Just the drugs more or less give me a world that I can hide in, where everyone is the same. There's no president and there's no, governor, and everyone is the same. We're all junkies.
But what are you talking about when you say that? We're all junkies. What do you mean?
I'm just saying, in the drug community, everyone is basically the same. We all looked upon as the same. A dope addict.
I was fucking with the dudes that rap, so we was already popping pills, and I started sniffing my pills. I would go in the bathroom and crush my hands up and sniff them. You know what I mean? And homeboy of mine was like, "Yo, you bluffing. I got some of this. You go in the bathroom and sniff this, and I'm telling you, bro, it's the same thing." So once I did it, it was over with. I was off to the races. Like, I never felt no better feeling than her body was warm. I was nodding. It felt good. And I was able to hide it for a long time because I still was shaking and moving. I was hustling, still robbing. But as it progressed, ain't no way you can hide it. Ain't no way I could hide it, bro. It was just, and my uncle told me when I was doing pills, my uncle, he was another dope fiend, told me like, man, them pills gonna take you places. Like, man, I got it. Man, I got it. And one day I came home, I was high, went in my room. And he was like, he came in there, say, they done took you some places, didn't? And I had to break down and tell him like, man, I'm getting high. So he was trying to give me all types of alternatives and what to do. Man, get on the methadone program, do this, do that. But I wasn't trying, I didn't want nobody to know. A quick story. I can remember selling dope. I had this illusion that I was a drug dealer. And I was selling dope, but I had a Percocet habit, right? And one of the guys that was out there, he said, "Kev, you ill?" I ain't no fucking ill. I got the flu. No, shorty, I'm telling you, you ill. You sniff a little bit of that dope, you'll be right. I'm not sniffing no dope. That's for junkies. The stigma. Little did I know, right? Bro, I sniffed that dope. I never took a perk again. It just made all the sense. That's why I say for these kids who are on Percocets today, they just don't know that it's about to make sense. It's about to make sense. You know, I need 4 or 5 $20 perks a day, which was a $100 a day habit, which stopped me from buying those tennis, stopped me from paying that cell phone bill, stopped me from getting that haircut, you know, stopped me from being supportive. What's next? Dope. So I sniffed some dope. When I sniff dope, I sniff raw dope. So now I still gotta be a little bit, I ain't sniffing no scramble. I'm a slick nigga, Then the fentanyl hit. This was 15 years ago. Cause see, I can still maintain 15 years ago. It wasn't that bad yet. I can still look a little bit fresh, but I just want to let them know, man, it's gonna get bad. Sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly, but it will get bad. So, I sniffed that dope, bro. And I never looked back there. I never looked back. I used to hide my straw to make sure nobody seen it. But then one thing about a drug, rather you like it or not, it's gonna show itself. So those people who are getting them pills from the doctors, they still got their family with the house up on the hill. You know what I'm saying? And then the script run out, but they don't tell you that you'll be chemically dependent to opioids. So now you gotta come and buy some dope.
I started with beer, I started with weed, then it went from beer, weed to powder cocaine, from cocaine to, you know, the hard cocaine and ecstasy and anything you could think of, like dippers. Then the last drug was the hard drug, which was heroin. I never would have thought that I'd start shooting heroin. But the things in your life, if you don't have an answer to questions, you'll turn to something to numb yourself. And I did a lot of that. I did a lot of numbing. I don't know what turned me to that, but I was looking for answers and I couldn't get it from home. And my mom, she did a very good job. She did the best she could. But for a person like me, it wasn't good enough, you know? So I went to the streets and did what I did best, and that was start using drugs. I sold drugs, a lot of it, but I used more of it. And I died several times doing it. It took a long time for me to get here because I got high for 26 years straight. From 12 to 38. That's a lot. You know, I know I did over several $1 million of drugs. It got so bad that I was probably drawing $300 to $500 worth a day. I didn't want to be here no more. I really didn't. But the fact that I'm here today, I know there's a God. And I've really hated God for a long time because it was being inside of me since I was little. But I had to find a God of my own for me to understand there was really a God out here. And it was a God inside of me that lived and wanted to live more than I wanted to live for myself.
More than 932,000 people have died since 1999 from a drug overdose. In 2020, 91,799 drug overdose deaths occurred in the United States. 75% of the nearly 92,000 drug overdose deaths in 2020 involved an opioid.
And it's crazy because when I first started overdosing, I thought that was the high you was looking for.
That's how ignorant I was. I was like, yeah, if you don't overdose or if you don't, go out, then you ain't get that high you looking for. And then I found out when I did more research that I died. I actually died several times where when I would come back to, my tongue was bleeding because I was like, I guess I was going through seizures or something that I didn't know about. And my ears was ringing. My eyeballs was hurting really, really bad. Like I had them up in my head for a long time. And by the time I came back to, it was hours later from the time that I thought I was just enjoying my high. So I died a bunch of times. And a lot of those times I wish I stayed dead until now. But I wanted to die. I didn't want to live like that anymore.
I remember sticking my neck out, letting the white girl hit me in my neck, saying, let me know if you hear Sheena come down the street. My wife, let me know if you hear Sheena. Let me know if you hear Sheena. As soon as I hear that means everything is on. I stand there, I wait, make sure I don't OD. And then I found out that sound that I was hearing, that ringing sound, that was me dying. That was me dying. Then I wake up in a fucking nursing home with, what's it called?
PICC line.
A PICC line in my chest, a catheter in my dickhead, can't walk. They said, sir, you was dead for some minutes. She probably ready to start crying. Sir, you was dead for some minutes. And I got videos of it.
November the 14th, 2017, that was the day I OD'd. That was the day I OD'd. I was just coming, and how that happened was, it's crazy because I had got locked up for like 7 months. The whole time I was locked up, this time, that was my last bit. I was telling myself like, man, I'm gonna do right, roll straight. I still had the opportunity to come home and get on the methadone program because I was getting a met while I was over the jail. So when I came home, I went and got medicated. I was locked up for a distribution, and a girl she told on me. She was a CI. So on the bus going to get medicated, I see another one of my homegirls, and I was telling her like, yo, when I served Shorty, they came and locked me up. They didn't lock her up, and they said I served a CI. So we talked, and she gave me a bar. I go get medicated, come back out. She like, we gonna sniff another half a bar together. So I sniffed a half a bar with her. I got a Finnegan in the day for my homeboy. But when we go around the corner, I see the girl that they say told on me. She got a knife. She pulls a knife out on me, and I slipped, and the pills got wet. I wound up taking all the pills. I knew right then and there when I took them, I was fucked up. I shouldn't have did it. But just coming home, I wanted to party, right? Got in the house, and that's all I remember when I got in the house. My mother told me the story that ambulance got there. I flatlined. They called the coroner and everything. Like, I was dead. Ambulance wasn't gonna take me, man. And I woke up in the hospital, half of my head shaved. Everybody standing around me, like, crying. And that was, I made a conscious decision, like, that was it. But, they give you the toxicology report. That's when I first realized that they got fake pills in. Because them bars that I took, that was fentanyl. It wasn't Xanax. It was fentanyl. So I overdosed off fentanyl that way. So there's different ways you can go.
I went out one time to go see a client. Client had just overdosed on fentanyl. So myself, officer came out, officer hit him with the Narcan, fire department hit him with the Narcan. And they brought him back. Within an hour, the person went back and overdosed again. And the fentanyl stays in your system so long, and I could treat you for, let's say, heroin or possibly fentanyl, but it could just cycle right back, which is scary. Because I'm thinking, okay, cool, you're back to yourself, great, let's keep it moving. But realistically, nah, you're about to OD again, and this time it might be harsher. Or you're now mad because I just blew your get high, and now that it's done come back and I'm gone because you just told me to F off. Now, you don't overdose, you're by yourself, nobody's there to bring you back with the Narcan, and that's a life loss. And it takes just a tiny bit, like smaller than a penny, just to overdose.
Even using recreational drugs is something that can lead to your death. And so I think with a lot of our young people, as well as those who may be addicted to illicit substances, the risk now of fentanyl being laced in the drug of their drug of choice is significant, right, compared to the past. So you can smoke marijuana now, but it can have, if you can be at risk of losing your life smoking marijuana. So even though in different jurisdictions it may be legalized, there's still a risk if you purchase it off the street, that you could get a batch of marijuana that has fentanyl in it and you die. And it could be something you were just doing on a recreational level.
People with high standards are slipping up, dying. We got actors that I think we just had one, the guy who played on The Wire, and the Ravens player. You know what I'm saying? They fentanyl is a match head, bro. It's a match head. It's a mistake you do it. You know, it's a mistake you take that much. It got to be a mistake.
Fentanyl is a powerful synthetic opioid that is similar to morphine, but is 50 to 100 times more potent. Since 2018, fentanyl has been responsible for most drug overdose deaths in the United States, causing over 71,238 deaths in 2021. Pharmaceutical fentanyl was developed for pain management treatment of cancer patients, applied in a patch on the skin. Because of its powerful opioid properties, fentanyl is also diverted for abuse. Fentanyl is added to heroin to increase its potency, or be disguised as highly potent heroin. Many users believe that they are purchasing heroin and actually don't know that they are purchasing fentanyl, which often results in overdose deaths.
I had a situation where I was out with another client, and the person sees an overdose or whatever, hit him with the Narcan, because I stay with Narcan inside my car because I work with people with substance abuse. I do home visits all the time. So boom, hit him with the Narcan, brought him back. I called 911 for the fire department that came out, fire department and police came out. One of the police officers came there and was trying to help and went to move something. They didn't have gloves on anything. That something had fentanyl on it. And that police officer wound up overdosing and going into the hospital just because she touched it. That's how strong it is. So it doesn't just have to affect you who you're trying to get high, and you also could be taking a drug that you don't even realize is laced with fentanyl. Because everybody who's using fentanyl doesn't know that they're taking a drug with fentanyl in it. You could lace it in weed, you could lace it in whatever. Your dope, it doesn't matter. You can lace fentanyl in everything. That's one of the reasons why it's so prevalent. And it doesn't take but so much to take you out. And God forbid it hits one of these kids, because like I said, same thing with the police officer. It happens to kids all the time. They accidentally touch something or inhale or taste or whatever, and they're in the hospital fighting for their lives, and a lot of them sadly die. Working at crisis, I come across that quite often. And it doesn't have a color. I definitely want to point that out. Just as how it happens in the Black community, happens in the white community, happens in impoverished communities, happens in high-scale prominent communities. So I definitely want to say it happens across the board, which is scary. Not that one life is more important than the other, but it is definitely something concerning.
The manufacturers of the drugs need to take ownership. The physicians and the medical systems that also provide the drugs need to take ownership and ensure that there's pain management protocol and process, and people just aren't being given narcotics just to feed an addiction, but to really help them with severe pain that they may be dealing with at that moment. But there should be a plan in which they transition off of that narcotic, or to manage that pain so that they don't become addicted. I think that doctors who run pill mills, those physicians who profit at others' pain, and know that what they're doing is illegal and unethical. They should be held to account. The U.S. Department of Justice, and I've seen some lawsuits across the country to financially hold to account some of the manufacturers, to financially hold to account some of the health systems and physicians in those health systems, and also those doctors. But I also think that as a community, we need to ensure that we provide the best comprehensive care and support for individuals who are experiencing addiction, so that they can transition if they are already caught in that net of pain and substance abuse use. But there are providers who benefit from providing these drugs. And I think we need to, as a community, we need to hold them accountable as well.
And all those treatment centers you're going to have the most drugs. The most. You can go to a treatment center and get everything you want, down to high blood pressure pills to get high off of. You know, you can get whatever you want from a treatment center, but you really can't get it on every corner. You know what I mean? So it's like an easy access to people that really want to get clean. You know, I went to a rehab before, and it had so much drugs in there. So much. And I just couldn't understand how was they getting it in there. So how much help are you really going to get when you're trying to fight for your life and what you're trying to run from is right there in front of you? I don't know.
My first treatment center, I was 26 years old. 26. Park Heights. As soon as I went in there, they were smoking crack and sniffing dope in the treatment center. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of these treatment centers are just big cash cows. Please come on in so I can bill your insurance. You know, but what's going to happen? I think Trump tried this, bro. I think he said something, I could be wrong, I'm not a politician, right? He said something about stopping your insurance from paying all these multiple times in treatment. I think you only get like 2 or 3 a year, something like that. If people was able to experience that, they wouldn't play with treatment so much. Because you can run into treatment and run back out. Just last year I was in treatment, right? I felt like an old ass man, bro. It was people in there 18, 19, 22. I remember being 22. That's how this addiction is. This shit will have you. I know people that's been getting high as long as I've been living. So, but treatment works if you allow your disease to be treated.
So let me just share this, and this may not be helpful to you, but I'm going to share this perspective. There's research that shows that the DARE program hasn't been an effective program, right? Going into schools and speaking about the impact of utilization of alcohol and drugs, particularly as it relates to, I think, like high schools.
So look at you, my brother, always running for cover. One leg to two leg to another. What I'm trying to say is don't be blind, because you might save your life if you say no one time. Drugs are wrong, so let them go. Make the right decision and just say no. Come on, let's get this show up. The ball's in your court. Just say no.
But if you still came to me on a surface level and said, Dr. Rice, do you think it would be a benefit for someone to come into your daughter's high school and talk about the negative aspect of utilizing drugs, particularly before prom, and how it can lead to bad outcomes? I would say, yeah. I would want someone to still come in to have that conversation. I share that to say, while the more dominant studies have shown that DARE may not have accomplished the end goal, right? There's still some things that, you know, the community, even if the research isn't showing that this is 100% connected to, this information is connected to them not going out prom night and still drinking and doing those things, I still will want that information available, right? Because that doesn't mean that things won't change or shift, or maybe even if it's a small group, right, there may be a small group of people who it does impact. It may not be statistically significant to show that this overall study moves, but to that 2 or 3 parents whose children didn't go get in their car, drive drunk after prom and kill themselves. It's still going to be one of the most invaluable conversations they might have had, because that officer or that school counselor or that guest speaker that came in and spoke in a auditorium with a image of a car there that was wrecked. And they said this car was from last year's prom at this school from across town. It can still have an impact. So I'm just saying that I think there's a lot of noise today, because when I was younger, and probably even when you were younger, we didn't have 24/7 social media. So it was easier to get things to us, even on the billboards. You could see certain billboards throughout the city. Now, I think there's a lot of competing interests, right? From entertainment, from even leading stories of crime and violence. So would you be more interested in the leading story being that shooting that happened on North Avenue or downtown? Or would you want us to lead off with the importance of prevention, right? And I believe that public health can utilize influencers in a way that can be impactful.
The people that are largely using drugs are impoverished, lack of opportunity. Sometimes it's a escape. And for whatever reason, they're using drugs. But I think that if you take those same people or others that use drugs, like you take people who use drugs, Black people or white people in affluent communities, you're probably not going to have that same level of violence, because those people might use drugs and they can pay off to whoever they're getting their drugs from. They don't owe them a couple $1,000 debt. They've always paid because they have a good job or they have savings or whatever causes conflict where someone wants to be violent. It's probably not going to happen as much in affluent communities, because again, the violence is largely associated with poverty.
Those young people are not born gangbangers. They were bred that way. So long as you have inadequate investment in them in their formative years, you're going to have inadequate and unfair and unfortunate results. These young people in the main need education as a way out. There has been a cutback on scholarships and increase in jail membership. A classic case would be in this state, if one goes to a state university for 4 years, a full academic scholarship would cost less than $30,000. If one goes to Soledad for 4 years, the full penitentiary scholarship would cost more than $120,000. We got to make a judgment to pay now or pay later. If we invest in these children early on, prenatal care and Head Start and daycare, invest in them job training and a way out will reduce the possibilities of this. The other part, however, is that I want to bust drug pushers wherever I find them, but not just the children on the streets, but those bankers who launder that money and those government officials who take a wink as that money comes across these borders. We cannot just focus on the end result of drug gangs in the streets while our administration is implicated in dealing with drug dealers in Panama and Honduras. In other words, the government must have moral authority and credibility to make a real impact.
You focused a great deal on supply, cutting the supply. What about demand? Would drug tests at the office place be something that you would endorse?
No, because really the drugs are in the mind before they're in the urine. There must be some commitment, therefore, to raising the moral standards of our children and our society in general. I'm concerned that we, as president, I could substantially cut the supply of drugs, but the people must be a part of a partnership to cut the demand for drugs. It is a partnership, but that involves an awful lot of mass education. And lastly, it involves an investment of money. The people who are sick right now, who need drug centers for treatment, who've contracted AIDS through drugs, not through sex. Therefore, I put forth a budget with a commitment to invest in helping to rehabilitate those who are sick.
Folks don't talk about this a lot, but we see more than double the amount of deaths from overdose than we do from homicide in our city, right? And for whatever reason, people don't talk about that. We know that addiction is a disease. And if we are serious about a public health approach in the city, which I think we are, and I think our mayor is, then just kicking out folks back onto the streets who are suffering from addiction is not an effective response. And so one of the shifts they made is instead of doing zero tolerance, they are now bringing on peer recovery coaches to help people identify resources and, if they're willing and able, get themselves into recovery.
I honestly believe, man, that all this gun violence that's going on, all this killing that's going on, it's drugs that's related to it hand in hand. Drugs go hand in hand. I don't believe that a conscious-minded child will put a gun in his hand and go kill something. They do something first. They pop something first. They smoke something first.
I feel so terrible about what I did. You know, I was under the influence of narcotics. I was, high. And me and the guy had a verbal altercation, and it turned out to be something that it wasn't, And I never actually my intention was never to turn out the way it did. I thought I was going to see them in the pain, but like I said, I was under the influence of drugs. That's why I called you witnesses. We both lost our lives in a sense. He actually said that he lost his, and I lost mine in every other regard. I lost my freedom, lost my spirit, I lost it all, and I'm so regretful for it. And, I destroyed his family. I destroyed my family. Like, it was so much that happened from this one bad event. I had dreams about him every night. Some guys say that, once they commit an act of this nature, that, that they become cold-hearted, they become cold-blooded to it, they become callous. Where, for me, it's not, it's like being for me, it's like being a nerve. It's raw and exposed. And I still feel them. I see them every night. And I feel so terrible for what I've done. Because I can only imagine how his family feels. So one of the reasons why I actually wanted to change and evolve is the first time today. Because I think about him all the time. I see him all the time. And it's like, I have to compensate for what I've done.
They just passed the law to make the ghost guns. Now the kids at 15 years old can buy the ghost gun from who? The white man that, or no, let me take race out of it. The addict who lives up in Virginia who got 5 or 6 printing machines, he print the guns, he come back down here and sell them for a pack of dope. We kill ourselves, he go shoot dope, and it's one big vicious cycle. One big vicious cycle. We don't got no goddamn 3D printing machines. These kids got clips. These kids got clips this damn big. Monkey nuts and all this old crazy shit. We don't know how to make them, bro. It's somebody that got an addiction, that's sitting making them guns, bringing them to the city, trading them for, and kids. It'll be an altercation. They on the perps. They on the lean. They on the molly. They on everything the rappers is on. If they got a mother that's 40-something, check this out. If they got a mother that's 40-something, she might be on something. The grandmother probably was on something in the 80s. So a lot of these kids are raising themselves. I feel for them. Because what is there left to do when nobody's raising you? You smoke weed, you smoke loud, we popping pills together. Boy, I got your back, I got your back. I love you, bro. Woo-dee-woo-woo. There's no guidance. Everybody's screwed up. You know what I'm saying? It's all good until it's not all good.
So at the time when my son got killed, it was May the 28th going into the 29th of 2020. I had 3 years clean at the time. And, winding down at the end of the night after being out at my program and doing the right shit. And, me and my son wasn't really speaking at that time when he got killed. He wasn't speaking behind my addiction. My daughter called my phone and she crying. But mind you, she had just had a daughter on the 21st. So my grandbaby was born on the 21st of May and my son got killed on the 28th going to the 29th. So my daughter called me. She said, she crying. So her mother gets the phone and say, yo, I can't even tell you this. So I'm like, what? Something wrong with my granddaughter? She like, nah, your son, hold up. So my baby mother, let's take a break for a second, bro. Break. Yeah, so My daughter couldn't really get the words out. So my baby mother had to tell me, like, man, your son down there laying down on the ground shot. You know what I mean? On Curly Street. And his grandmother lived on Curly, so that kind of threw me for a loop. But I put my clothes on, go down there. When I get to Linwood in Jefferson, I sees all the police in the yellow tape. I gets out the car, go up there, and I see my son shoes. He halfway in the street, halfway out. And I just zapped. You know what I mean? Police wrestled me down. And a police lieutenant dude that was out there knew me. And was like, man, Blue, I can't let you see him like this. You know what I mean? I can't let you see him like this. Let us clean him up because he got shot in his face. All right, let us clean him up. And then you can see him. So you wind up, you know, when you have to bury your child, man, it just opens up a whole nother mindset. Like it never happened to you, because my mother lost my brother. So I seen it change her, but I never thought that it would happen to me. It's a pain that's unexplainable, man. It can't be told in words. It's a fight inside you that can't be told in words. You know, going to the funeral home, having to dress him, having to look at him in the casket, and he was cremated. So I got some of his ashes, and his mother got some.
When I worked as an addictions counselor, there was a young man who everybody on the unit became very close to. And he matured before our eyes, and he was someone that we would call like a son to us. And then when he left the facility, we reconnected with him in the community. His mother would say, you know, you guys had such a positive impact on him. I want you to still stay in his life. And we did that. One of the toughest calls I ever got was a year after he had left the facility, and I was working my full-time job, and his mother called me and said, I just wanted to call you to thank you, Dr. Rice. And so I'm at work, and my colleagues, I'm like, it's kind of weird. Why is she calling me during the work day? But I was like, okay, you know. She was like, I really appreciate everything you did for my son. I was like, okay, yeah. I said, so then I paused for a minute. I said, oh boy. I said, don't tell me he got locked up. She was like, no, Dr. Rice. Well, I wasn't Dr. Rice at the time. She's like, no, Mr. Rice, he got killed. He got killed on North Glover Street early this morning.
It was a burning sensation inside me, and it was something calling inside of me saying, if you come to me as you are, exactly as you are, high, broken down, ugly looking, black, dusty fingers, dirty clothes, if you come to me exactly how you are, I got you. And I guess that was that inner God inside of me that kept talking to me. And one day I went to church, high. I mean, I've been getting high for like 2 weeks straight, reading the Bible, smoking crack at the same time. You know, had the pipe in one hand, reading the Bible in the other hand. And that was the last time I got high.
This is what you choose. I don't understand why. I don't understand why you choose this. It hurts. It hurts so bad to watch you deteriorate. To watch you just slowly kill yourself. Such a beautiful soul that could save so many people. You don't see what you have inside. So the first time I would say it was 3 months. It was like 3 months he was clean, and then a relapse happened. And then he was out for about 2 months. So that it was always that anxiety, like not knowing what was going to happen. Like, you know, he proposed in February of last year. So it'll be a year. February 10th will be a year that we've been engaged. And in that year, I will start planning a wedding, and then he will relapse. And I'm like, I can't even plan my life, because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen, but this last time something different happened, something changed. And this is the like longest sobriety period I think that he's had. I don't know. I can't explain it from a person outside looking in, except from my experience of dealing with it. I saw something different. But it's been 2 years and it took a couple times. And I know he's been struggling for years prior to me being in the picture. So I can only imagine what his struggle has been, but I know what's us within the relationship. It's been about 5 or 6 different relapses within the 2 years. But this last time it's almost 8 months been clean. And it's just been amazing things happening. Like, he's in school. He's been opening up more and talking to people, trying to change lives. We started a business, trying to get people, helping people get into treatment. It's it's a process. It's a slow process that we have to work on every single day. They say one day at a time. And that's just not for an addict. That's for people in general. You can only deal with things one day at a time. Tomorrow's not promised to anyone. So I would tell anyone that's dealing with someone that has a loved one that's struggling to not give up, but also know your boundaries. Be safe, be smart, have a support group, work on yourself. And that would be my message. But also, to the family members, to the addict that, is struggling as well, understand how it affects your loved ones. We go through a lot. And sometimes I always say, we kind of go through it a little tougher than they do because they have a drug to help them cope. They at some point are doing something that's making them feel good. We just sitting having to deal with our responsibilities in everyday life. And we have a different toolbox to help us cope through life. We don't have a drug to make us numb or whatever. And, meanwhile they're doing what they're doing and we're just sitting in limbo waiting for that call or home crying or having to pick up the pieces to the mess and the destruction.
Like, if we had more people working the streets, I think we can probably save more lives. Not saying, oh, this is the building you come to, you can get the help you're looking for. If we actually go out there and talk to some of these people that's on the streets, you'll get to learn their story and then you'll know how to help them. If you don't know them, how are you going to help them? If you don't know where they came from, if you don't know what started it, if you don't know how you can treat their mental state of where they at now, how are you going to ever help them? So if we had more facilities that's really talking about helping people that's on drugs, we need to go out there and we need to work the streets. It's so many guys that I know, because most of them are guys that I pass through and I give money to when they holding their sign up and I know they high or I know they done, some drugs that day or whatever it may be. I know them personally now. They see my car. Hey, how you doing? I know their names. I know that, oh yeah, you know what? I'm starting to do this now. And the church helping me get a place now. You know what I'm saying? It started from them being nowhere, from me just having a conversation with them. And I'm not going to say I'm the reason, but I'm part of their life. They look for me. And I look for them. I'm like, did you see John today? And they were like, oh man, he in the hospital. Yeah, I'm going to tell him, I see you. If you get to know these people, they're not as bad as you think they are. They just not. I wasn't.
I've been working in the field of mental health since 2003. And I've worked with people with substance abuse for just about as long. And I can say you're kind of chasing fool's gold if you don't address the substance abuse portion while trying to address the mental health piece. Just because I work with people who are actively in their addiction, and this is early in my career, I didn't realize that, hey, look, I'm fighting an uphill battle if I'm just trying to treat the mental illness, whether they're depression, anxiety, trauma, PTSD, while not addressing or getting them into treatment for the substance abuse. Because they may be actually ready or enjoy talking to me every week for therapy, but if they're not ready for a substance abuse treatment, I'm just playing this game of round robin, because when they leave out the office after seeing me for 45 minutes to an hour, they're right back out on the street, pumping something inside their veins, and they're treating that trauma that they just unmasked and was dealing with in my office, and they're treating it the best way they know how, because I only have for a tiny period of time every 7 days. They have to deal with their reality for every second of those days, and they're treating it the best way they know how. So it has to work hand in hand and in concert. So when you come and see me for therapy, you definitely have to, I don't want to say definitely have to, it's imperative, it's very important that you do get the mental health or substance abuse treatment as well.
It go hand in hand. It go hand in hand. You know, people, they medicate themselves with the drugs. You know what I mean? So yeah, I know mental health tied into addiction in this city. Whether it's PTSD, anxiety, what else? Schizoaffective. It ties hand in hand to it. And if you don't get, you gotta take care of both of them. You can't just focus on one. You gotta focus on the mental health and the substance abuse addiction.
It starts with your mental. It really starts with your mental state of mind. You know, like I said, mine started when I was young. You know, and if you don't make your mind up, your mind, and get the help you need when it comes to getting a shrink, a therapist, counselor, going to church, reading things that's going to uplift you, meditating, you're not, well, I could not. Let me talk about me. I could not get where I'm at today without all those things that I did. You know? So if you get clean and you get clean for someone else and not for yourself, it's not going to work. It never did for me. If you sit there and you're doing it just to save face, or like I said, not for yourself, it's not going to work. So the thing with me, I would have been right back out there if I didn't work on my mental state of mind, because I was messed up from the floor up. Like, you seen a picture of me from back then. I was off the hook. And I finally said to myself, this is what I want for myself. Whereas though I even told my mom, you cannot be involved with this process at the very beginning. I wouldn't allow her to be involved because I felt like she would have took that from me, what I was trying to do for myself. You know, and I had to do a lot of counseling. I still have a counselor on speed dial if I ever have any issues or triggers going on with my mind. But I have less time to feel like I could be triggered by anything because I've done so much work on myself. And it started with me, you know. It was times that when I first got clean, I would have these dreams, drug dreams all the time, whatever. And I just knew I got high. And it scared the death out of me. It was times that that something would happen in my life when I first got clean. And I just knew that if I don't get past this, I was going to be back on the streets. And I was going to die from drugs. No matter, hands down, I was going to die from drugs if I went back out. So, me personally, I just feel like you have to do a full workout on yourself for it to work out.
Having that outside support, like a mental health therapist a substance abuse counselor, it's really good because you have that outside set of eyes that see you, that thinks that everything's okay. This is me making it. That goes, no, sweetie, you're not making it. You're surviving. You're not thriving. And it's really important to have that outside set of eyes that can help you become your best self. We're not here because we know everything. We're not here because we're trying to tell you what to do. We're here to help you become the person that you want to be. That's why the goals are made by you, with us helping you to achieve those goals. So it's not the end of the world being addicted. You can and will thrive, but that first step has to be made by you with a serious commitment. This is my goal. This is what I want to attain. If I want to own a house, if I want to own a boat, if I want to own whatever, if I want to thrive, I want to leave a legacy for my kids, that first step has to start with, okay, I need help. I want to make a change. Like, I've been thinking about it. I've been contemplating it. I want to put this into action. Or I did put it into action before. I was doing well. I messed up. I got down and I need to get picked back up. I don't know where to start. Perfect. That's the best place to start, is not knowing where to start.
One life lost is one life too many lost. I feel the pain of families who have lost a loved one due to substance abuse. In my family, there's been individuals who've lost their lives due to substance abuse, due to gun violence. And so I understand the impact that can have. And we often wonder how these individuals would have influenced family, influenced community. We'll never know who they could have become. And so I'm inspired to keep doing the things that I'm doing because of those experiences that I've had with them, and also wanting to build a pathway for their children and other family members so that they can be hopeful and not walk down the same path as other family members and other people in the community.
I'm just saying this, man. Take some time back, step back and look at your life, where it's at today, where it was at the first time you used. See if it's gotten better or worse. Only you know. Only you know. And if it's gotten a little bit worse, if you can see some things, I done lost my car, lost my job, lost a relationship with you, but it ain't really that bad. I still can handle it. It's going to get worse, sir. It's progressive and fatal. It's progressive and fatal. I believe that addiction takes us to 3 places, bro. It takes us to 3 places. It takes us to jail. It takes us to institutions. And then it takes us to death. Jail. Either I'm going to go to jail because I done went in Walmart and start stealing. Either I'm going to go to jail because I'm out here trying to sell some dope to get my high. Either I'm going to go to jail because I done robbed something to get some money. Or I'm going to go to an institution, a mental institution, because I'm going to do something to make me lose my freaking mind. You see what I'm saying? And after I go to all those different places, I do one and I die. I'm subject to relapse at any given time. At any given time, I can go cross the street or wherever else and cop right now if I want to. But the pain, bro, you know what I'm saying? The pain is so great of me dying, bro, that I just can't do it. Today, I can't do it today. Tomorrow's not promised. My message is this, man. If you lost somebody to addiction, if your mother was on drugs, your brother, your neighbors, maybe even yourself, recovery is possible, man. Recovery is possible. And I won't say where you need to go because I cannot promote that. All I'm saying is this, man, is that it's okay to cry out for help because there's somebody listening. Somebody listening, man.
As of right now, I'm a peer recovery specialist. What a peer recovery specialist is somebody that has walked in addiction and now works trying to help people get out of it. It's like, so to speak, reaching in and pulling people out and trying to teach them a better way to live instead of getting high, instead of substance abuse. I work for Recovery Network. People come in and out, in and out. And I take my job serious. I facilitate groups. I teach them about substance abuse. I teach them coping skills. I help them get food stamps, help them get TDAP, which is temporary disability. And I talk to them, man, and they love me. My clients, they love me, bro, because I've been through it. I know how it is, bro. I want for them what I was able to do. Like, if somebody would have helped me like I'm doing now, I probably would have got out of it long ago, but I probably wouldn't be so motivated to do what I'm doing. You know what I mean? In college, you know what I mean? For Allied Human Services, trying to get my degree, taking care of my family, and doing what I'm supposed to do, man. Ain't nothing out here in these streets, man, for nobody. Ain't nothing out here in these streets for nobody.
I'm just trying to be my best self. 39 and I feel like I'm my best health. She like, boy, you got gut, don't that mean wealth? It's motherfuckers starving and they need help. I done did the whole dash, no seatbelt. Creeped on my main chick, no love felt. No love lost for any nigga lost. Sometimes niggas can't see you grow into a boss. It ain't bragging if you win and turn it to a floss. Niggas always want flip it, now you got it crossed. That's why they say only believe it when you see it. And none of what you hear, shit, we made it through the year. I could drop quotes all day and they won't care. I give 2 fucks, I did it for Ramen. Had to throw bro up in the verse. I'm still sharp with it till they throw me in the hearse. I'm just trying to be my best self. Beachfront vacay with my best self. A lot of stress on my chest and I need rest. Nigga soul ain't the same when he depressed. Can't nobody make me happy like my own self. And you can't reciprocate if you don't know yourself. And you can't reciprocate if you don't know yourself. I'm just trying to be my best self. Always helping niggas when I need help. That energy of wearing tear on you. There's something about the ocean, how I do repair on you. You ain't gotta be perfect, just put the nail on you. I could give a fuck, leave a little hair on you. See, the imperfections are so perfect. I'm a tough nigga to break, but I'm worth it. You ain't gotta worry, I'm straight, just rehearsing. Ventilating, I'm sorry I kept you waiting. See, we gotta find a balance. This my outlet, my music is my challenge. So when you looking for me, I be somewhere on the island. I ain't posting shit, just know that I be styling. Phone on airplane mode, but I ain't wildin'. It's crazy how they jump to conclusions and profiling. I'm just trying to be my best self. I ain't got a bitch with me by my damn self. Thinking about all my albums on the damn shelf. Should've been with plat, but they all felt. Should've been with plat, but they all felt.
I'm the type of person that if I'm not my best, I don't want to be around people because I feel like God has given me a gift to lift people up.